And that's the beauty of it, right? I can't say there is no mantra. I have to daily understand how and what I need to do to further my chances to getting the next shoot.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Down and Dirty, brought to you by Poocho, a research productivity tool to collect consumer feedback and then analyze that data at scale. I'm your host Taapsi, and today I have with me someone who you've probably seen over the years on TV and movies, but I'm going to introduce him again just in case you need a refresher. This is Sidhaant Karnick. He's an old friend of mine. I'm so happy to have him on the show. He started his career with the TV show Remix, which I didn't know about, and has since gained popularity through shows like Mahive, which I do know about, and Pyar Ki Ye Kahani. He's a versatile actor. He's portrayed a set of diverse characters, and most recently, or rather most famously, his most recent movie is Animal, where you must have seen him. I thought that movie was incredible. I don't know what the issues were around. I mean, I know the issues around it, but I thought it was a great movie. And Siddhant, you were amazing in it. Beyond acting, he is involved in theater and is passionate about exploring various aspects of performance arts. And he's also a biker, which you can see from all his amazing gear behind him. Siddhant, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Tapsi. This is just, it's so good you're doing this. And thank you for having me over. It's a special honor as well. I've always admired you're such a smart girl, and I've been speaking to different people about a good podcast person, and you are it. And I'm hoping you would be way better than even Joe Rogan with this episode because you're very good.
Oh, okay. Stakes are not high at all. I can easily do this.
No
Yeah,
expectations.
no pressure, no pressure. Um, so Siddhant, the reason I was very excited to have you on is because I believe that there's a side to you
Mhm.
that people may not know about. They're familiar seeing you on screen, obviously, and they have some sense of who Siddhant might be, checked out your interviews online, followed you. But we know very little about your digital life. What do you
Mhm.
do online? What keeps
Mhm.
you going?
Mhm.
What do you have on your phone? Like, what apps do you touch, that you like? So I thought that this would be a good opportunity for me to unpack some of that with you, and
Mhm.
and that's what this episode is going to be about.
Mhm.
But before we get into any of that, where I want to start with is a day in your life now.
Mhm.
So as of, if you had to just take last week as an example, because I'm sure day to day changes for an actor, what is an average day in your life in this at this
Uh,
juncture?
there is no average. And that's what I love being an actor. Every day is so different. You asked me my last week, I just had a flash of all the things that have happened. So, A, the life of an actor is not average.
Mm,
B,
yeah.
the life of mine is definitely not average, above average for sure. And it's because I don't like to call it a restless soul, but I'm a seeking
Oh.
soul. So I'm always out and about trying to do something, learn something, experience something.
Hmm.
So I don't have, but if I was to largely say to answer your question, the daily routine, it would be to wake up at 7:30, go for a badminton workout, have a steam, have a shower, have a big heavy breakfast. This is the day I'm not shooting. A big fluffy omelet to nourish me and get me going. Coffee, boom, get all my emails done, all that logistic work in the morning done. So I'm
Yeah.
up, done by afternoon. By afternoon, then when I'm back home, depending on how I'm feeling, I take calls, meetings, or some things, read through scripts, take a nap, very depending on the mood.
Yeah.
By evening, I do some riyaz, and by night, I'm off to sleep after watching a movie. So
And what
those are
time do you go
the
to bed?
very depending on the movie I'm watching.
Okay.
But usually I've noticed by about 12, I'm asleep. I need like some nice solid hours of 7 hours of sleep I need.
Yeah, 12 to 7, 7:30 sounds pretty solid.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what are these, now you've already teased the conversation by saying, I no one day is normal. I'm constantly pushing myself. Now
Mm.
you've got to give me some examples of what
Mm.
are these things that you're doing outside of, just regular checking your mail and reading scripts.
If it's a weekend and I've got the itch to ride, then I put on one of the suits at the back, the
Yeah.
one on the right. That's my all-terrain suit, and I take my motorcycle and ride out. And that is also part of the process of being an actor for me,
Mhm.
because I've noticed that, especially when I get deep into a character, I need to come back to hit neutral. And getting on the
Hmm.
motorcycle allows me to ground myself to come back to that neutral. And I've noticed it's not just for, I mean, I used to earlier give this bahana to mom and say it's part of my process. Uh, but it's also when the city gets the better of me, when I'm
Yeah.
feeling edgy and
Yeah.
it just need that one tool to ground
Mm.
me. So that is when I get the motorcycles out. When I don't have that kind of time and luxury,
Mm.
then I'm a petrol head. So and I recently acquired a beautiful car. It's a 1982 Mercedes W123. It comes in the classic vintage category. And just sitting in that car and just driving it in this when there is no traffic,
Yeah.
find those spaces. And again, that kind of grounds me. So I think being a petrol head really helps me to deal with a lot of I don't want to say stress, but the pace of Bombay, which might not necessarily suit my rhythm.
So when you're driving either the car or
Mm.
riding your bike, are you
Mm.
usually leaving the city? Is that what you mean
Yes,
by
most
when the city?
definitely.
Mm.
Most definitely. Not within the city, unless it's like
Mm.
a early Sunday morning and then I'm going to town and back and there's no traffic. The
Yeah.
traffic is
Yeah.
part of that energy which is around. No, you see people just like not even a
Yeah.
second to spare. They're honking. They just want to do this, this contactless martial art bumper car
Yeah.
sport that's happening. It's too stressful, man.
Okay, so
It's
you're out of the city. Like if you have a down
definitely,
day or
yeah.
you need to unwind, ground yourself, like you said, you're bouncing out of Bombay.
Yes, and living out of myself. I think
Yeah.
anything that allows me to experience life and to live outside of myself
Mm.
gives me that grounding. And Mother Nature is the best, most
Mm.
wonderful, wonderful medium to channelize that for myself. There's music
Okay.
as well, for those little times in between where I want to just zone out,
Yeah.
or yeah, not zone in, zone out.
Yeah.
Music helps me with that.
I imagine the actor's life is, I mean, not only unpredictable, but like you
Mm.
said, it can be pretty pacey
Yeah.
because because of this unpredictableness, right? Like sometimes
Yes.
you're here, sometimes you're there. Maybe a shoot got cancelled, maybe a shoot got pushed up, and you've
Mm.
got to be prepared.
Mm.
How would you encapsulate yourself as an actor? If you had to say in third person,
Mm.
Siddhant as an actor is someone who,
It's a great question, and I'd like to tell the audience that we're not always actors. In fact, we're hardly
mm,
actors in the year. We're
mm,
shooting very little of the time, actually.
mm,
Work for an actor is not the shooting part. Work for an actor is to get the work, to get the next shoot. A
mm,
lot of time, energy, everything is spent to get the next shoot.
mm,
Um, when the shoot is happening, we're in La La Land, this is what we've
yeah,
prepared for, this is what all
yeah,
that is. And then coming together and in that shooting environment, that's a holiday for me, to be very honest. Um, but it's the other times where we are truly working to get the work. Um, so that takes up a lot of time, unpredictability. Suddenly, you don't know whether somebody who you had to meet has canceled, or suddenly they're free, or figuring out who to meet, how to go about meeting them, channelizing. I don't know. It's so, and that's the beauty of it, right? I can't say there is no mantra. I have to daily understand how and what I need to do to further my chances to getting the next shoot. Because
yeah,
it's not, I mean, I've been part of a hit film, a super hit film, so they say, and yet things really haven't changed in terms of trajectory
yeah,
of commercial films coming to me, and that
right.
is but the nature of the
Mm,
industry that we are in. So to first break that thing, because I worked 20 years, and there was this saying कि भाई लॉटरी सिस्टम है हमारी
uh,
इंडस्ट्री में.
uh,
वो एक प्रोजेक्ट मिल गया ना, वो लॉटरी लग जाएगी और उसके बाद धमाधम.
yeah,
But unfortunately, or fortunately for me, it's not happened. yet.
Hmm.
And I'm slowly leaving that belief of that lottery system in our
Hmm.
thing, and that it's
Hmm.
just daily work that you put in, and then finally it does pay off in a more stable trajectory.
Right.
Because lottery can have a crazy graph up and then a crazy graph down as well.
Absolutely.
So this
Yeah.
seems in at least maybe I'm trying to make my peace with this pace, this journey that
Hmm.
okay, it's
Hmm.
slow but steady. देर आएंगे दुरुस्त आएंगे.
So, keeping this in mind, what you just shared about the fact
Mhm.
that most of this is work off screen in order to
Yes,
get the work on screen. Now,
yes.
tell me,
Mm.
with this context in mind, who is Siddhant as an actor?
A curious, adventure-seeking personality who is very fortunate to be in a profession which allows him to explore all these inherent qualities of the self. Um, and in the profession of being an actor, I live so many different lives. I meet so many different people. I get to talk with wonderful people like yourself, Taapsi, which I might not have had I probably not been an actor.
Yeah.
The respect that I get of being an
Mm.
actor, it's so respect is very inherently important for me. And I
Mm.
realized this when I was growing up. My father was in the army, and in India, at least, there's immense respect for people in the army. Immense
Yes.
respect, right? Wherever you go,
Yeah.
people just take a back step and say, okay, give
Yeah.
you that. And I've noticed the same with being an actor. They might never, and this is like in the grassroots places where I ride off to, they might never have seen my
Yeah.
work as well. But if they know, are you an actor? And suddenly,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
respect changes. And I love that. I work for respect more than the fame or money or anything. It's
Yeah.
izzat chahiye.
So, I want to unpack this a little bit more.
Mhm,
If a lot of the work of an actor is getting the work, which
mhm,
absolutely makes sense,
mhm,
let's go back to your day that
mhm.
you described a day in your life, your
Yes.
average day, whatever that means, and
Mm,
tell me, sprinkle in this context of the fact
mhm,
that you're trying to get work. So
mhm.
how does that figure in? You mentioned you check your emails. Is that where some conversations are happening, or how are you actually working the the system to get
I-
work in a day?
In terms of mediums, then it's your phone and WhatsApp, which is the first thing I check.
Mm,
Calls, reminders. I've said that other people have said, oh, call me in August or call
mm,
me in, let's do a meeting in September. I'm busy right now.
yeah.
So, like checking the calendar. I have a wonderful team. Blue Buzz is on board in terms of PR and managing my work as well. So now there is not just me in this journey. I have a team involved and they help me out, not just in managing the work, but seeking out the right people
Yeah.
uh,
Correct.
for whatever is to come out of it. There is
Correct.
no method to this madness.
Yeah.
Um, then sitting down and also visualizing, and
Hmm.
putting it out in the universe. That's so important. Manifesting that
How do you
is.
do that? Do you have a whiteboard, or are you writing? Are you journaling? Like, what is your way of?
There is. I don't know if you can see the end of the
I can
screen on
see
the
it.
right.
I
There
can see it.
is there is a
Yeah.
whiteboard which is a manifestation chart. I use visual
Amazing.
cues. Uh, I sit
Okay.
and daydream sometimes.
Yeah.
When it's too much of all this, you should do this, write this, then just sit
Yeah.
and daydream and actualize that thing. And I learned this after I procured the W123, my car, my vintage car. Yeah, it was solidified the concept of manifestation. Like I said, I'm a petrol head, and I'll take a lot of life's learnings through vehicles, cars, motorcycles. And the process of procuring this car, which is a very rare car in the condition as well that I was able to get it in, it was nothing short of manifestation and how I
Hmm.
got it. So I decided to break down the methods of that and apply the same principles
Oh.
on life as well and what I really want, which is untangible, and
Huh.
bring some sort of a my mantra or my method to that manifestation.
And can you
No,
share? Is that
no, no,
no?
no. Hey, come on. No, you have to find your own
Okay, okay,
journey now.
okay. No, no, no. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Okay, no
yeah.
problem. I was just testing the waters.
Yeah. For that, you have to come on to my OnlyFans page.
That's it. That's what I needed. That's exactly what I needed. That's why I'll come on for your manifestation. Not for anything else. Just for those insights.
For my
Um,
manifestation.
so so all right, so you have the manifestation process that you do as part of the day. You're obviously you're keeping track of, people you need to follow up with, as any professional would do, because these
Yes.
are leads, these are business leads. Are you using things like Google Calendar, or you have a Mac, I know, so are you using Apple Calendar for
I have
uh
tried I've tried Google Calendar, and I
yeah.
failed miserably at it. Uh,
Okay.
and that's one thing consciously I'm not doing. And I
Hmm.
noticed this because, for example, with my navigation, I use
Hmm.
GPS all the time, every time.
Yeah.
And as a result, my memory skills in terms of direction has reduced
Ah.
because there's so much dependency
Correct.
on that. I'm not applying my mind, okay, figure this, how we used to before Google came
Correct.
around, right?
Correct. Correct.
And then I figured, okay, I really need this because it saves time.
Yeah.
But Google Calendars, maybe I can do without and just try to remember. That way I'm keeping my memory engaged rather than on the outside and getting
Wow.
it.
So follow-ups and all, it's
Yes,
memory?
it's in my head, unless it's in WhatsApp.
Wow.
And also
Okay, I'm
things you have to
impressed.
do in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's here. And I try to keep it here till as much as I can. Uh, because it's like a muscle you don't use will
Yeah.
go away.
Correct.
And the
Correct.
smartphone is making us dumber.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that means there must not be. So what is the kind of what stuff are you touching digitally in a day, if you're only doing it for the bare minimum, is what it seems like, like if
Mhm.
it saves you time or you have to do it, because
Yes,
WhatsApp is where conversations are happening. You're
yes,
not using calendar for your reminders. Your networking is happening through phone calls or physical meetings or WhatsApp messages,
yes.
right? Script reading, obviously it's physical scripts, so you're there. is
Mhm.
there is there if I had to ask you to open up your phone, what are some go-to apps? Like, are there things other than WhatsApp that
Yes.
you're using?
And this is also, I've had it such that, the placement is tuck. I'm not
Yeah.
scrolling through because I know I have
Ah,
to be efficient.
exactly.
And I will tell you also, I try to be off this as much as possible.
Ah, okay.
I am not, I am deliberately trying to disconnect. All my notifications are off. It's a black screen. Nothing comes up except a phone call. And it's a black brick that I carry because this thing is taking over our lives. And if like you've been watching uh, Social Dilemma and all these things where you understand
Yeah.
there are hundreds of
Black Mirror.
engineers
Oh my God.
are paid to make sure that I am hooked on to this.
Yeah.
And as a creative person, this is really bad for me.
Mm.
Um, Christopher Nolan, in one interview, said he also doesn't carry a smartphone. It's one of those
Mm.
old Neil type phones.
Yeah.
Uh,
The
and
flip phone.
and he says boredom is the beginning of creativity.
Yeah.
A phone doesn't allow us to be bored; it distracts us.
Mm.
Um, and I've also gone through this countless hours of Instagram scrolling, and I don't
Mm.
come out of inspired. I don't come out of it entertained. I come out of it consumed. I don't feel good after those hours of scrolling.
Mm.
And I realize, okay, bus ho gaya. So in fact, my Instagram app, which is I'm addicted to, um, I keep changing the position. So yeah, so I don't like quickly access it when I need to, then I'm like, do I really need this or is it a habit? Is it,
Oh my God, that's an amazing hack. I'm going
yeah,
to try that. I'm going to change
yeah,
where it is on my phone.
yeah, exactly, because look,
Yeah.
I've realized
Yeah.
there are hundreds of
Yeah.
very well paid, best in the world engineers doing their job to get me hooked on this phone. It's already a battle I've lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Within that, I can only just about reduce my screen time by doing
Yeah.
these
Yeah. Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Even that Instagram reminder or you spend too much time on Instagram, when
Yeah.
I'm in the zone, I just say, okay, whatever, and I carry on. It doesn't really, I never listen to it.
in, in anthropology, there's this framework of agency and structure. Right, structure
Okay.
is the thing in which we operate. Instagram is the structure. Social media is the
Yes.
structure in which we operate, and then
Yes.
agency is
Mm.
your ability to, like, maneuver in that structure, right? Like, what can
Mm,
you do, right? You
mm,
can't break the structure. Structure is too
mm,
big, you're part of the structure. But
mm,
what can you do to have some sense of control and
mm,
ownership
mm.
and power in that
Yes.
structure? So it feels like simply moving the location of your Instagram app is saying, hey, mere paas thoda power hai.
Exactly. David versus Goliath. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So other than Instagram, are there any other of these sucky apps, the ones that have hooked you in?
No, I'm not on Snapchat. The social medias,
Mm,
they're really, no, I try to keep off it. Um, Instagram, I have to, yeah, because also my industry is based off that. I get a lot of my news. I've stopped reading newspapers. There is no outside event ka knowledge coming into me
mm,
through news because it's solidly depressing. The first thing I used to wake up and I'm reading all these bad things happening across the world. And I'm like, bro, what is this, man? Like,
yeah, yeah,
I know it's being selfish and not being aware. Like at that time, it would be ignorance. I would live my
yeah,
life through ignorance.
yeah.
Here, through social media, I am selecting the topics which I want to be interested in or have knowledge about, uh, and then go through that until that affects me directly. I know it's being a little selfish, but there is just so much information out there.
Yeah,
I can't possibly take it all in
yeah,
and maintain a level of sanity for myself. And these are the little things I do selfishly. I won't say selfishly, selflessly. Because the distinction between the two is selfish is you're doing something for yourself at the cost of somebody else,
mm,
and selfism is I'm doing something for myself, not at the cost of somebody else.
mm.
Um, so between that, I prefer being selfism. That's a motorcycle philosophical terminology that we bikers use, but it's related to life. The motorcycle monk talks about life on the road and the life here as well, and how to deal with the lessons of life on road, in life. I'm done.
Wow, that just sounded like it's the beginning or an ending of an ad.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
um, you know what's so interesting, Siddhant, is so far in this conversation, whether you've intended to or not, it has it has veered in the direction of finding self,
Mm,
right? And what does it mean to find self? Whether
mm,
it is checking out of Instagram, which is the most recent thing we talked about,
mm,
but cell phones in general, you bouncing out of Bombay, right,
mm,
when you can to find yourself. Um, Motivation, manifestation, all
mm,
inward
mm,
looking activities, right?
mm,
And it's kind of interesting that everything, whether it's a
mm,
day in your life or it is your hobbies, your skills,
mm.
or your work and how you work or how you consume content, it all has that ring to it
Okay.
of being introspective. And so, my next question is, what else are there other things that you do as part of this introspective journey where are there enablers in your environment that allow you to look inward? You mentioned boredom, which is great. It's not even an
Mm,
enabler, it's just not doing anything is,
mm, mm, mm,
is great for that introspection. Are there
mm.
other things that you do for connecting to
Definitely.
self, like?
Yes. Connecting with my friends,
Mm,
with people, to reflect on the days going on, getting their perceptions on it, hearing their life stories and understanding their thought processes. And these are the group of people who you get inspired from.
mm,
I have been a lot more aware to reduce that circle down to those who are inspiring me and I'm learning something from, as
mm,
opposed to who are consuming my energy. That's very important, and it's being not selfish again. It's being protecting oneself.
mhm,
Because even good intentioned people can take away. Um, and as much as you're trying there to help, if they're not doing the actions, there's no point over there. So then hang around performers, beautiful people, and performers not necessarily in careers, but just people who are alive and living life to
yeah,
the max. That's what I
yeah,
resonate with. So just reflecting off
yeah.
them helps me in this dimension also. Um,
Very cool.
working out. Working out
Hmm.
is a great way to understand the self through the body. And I think, it's lovely you asked this question because now I'm relating being an actor also uh, helps me in understanding myself better. I
Right.
can only play a character. I'm seeking a character all the time. So therefore, before that, I need to seek myself and understand who I am right now, as opposed to an older narrative which we hold on to ourselves, right? Because we are ever evolving and changing.
Correct.
So and that's why I was telling a friend of mine, that's why I love doing theater as well, because unlike in
Mm.
cinema, where once you perform, it is on celluloid and forever that is it. Every time you watch
Yeah.
it, it'll always the same. But theater
Mm.
is so different, ever evolving, because every time I come back to playing the character, I have changed. And therefore, the way I
Yeah.
play the character
That's
has
true.
changed. And
That's
that's
true.
why that's true with others also. They come with a
Yeah.
different perspective of life. They're playing the character different now. And then the two characters have a different interaction and relationship. And then the energy kind
Unbelievable.
of shifts, changes, and it's
Yes.
always evolving. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of theater. That's why I love doing theater as well, which again is a very big self exploratory tool because the
Yeah.
characters genuinely come out from the inside as opposed to on script and then I'm finding myself in there.
Yeah. So working out, biking, talking to friends, being bored. Um, these are all ways in which you have been consciously or unconsciously aware of self as part
Yes.
of that process. You also
There is
mentioned,
another thing, if we are talking about it and you want to deep dive into it,
yeah.
there is this other, and I got this off a reel. So
Okay.
it's, you know,
Silver lining.
yeah. um, every year I put myself into a very uncomfortable situation physically, very
Okay.
unknown. And by that, like for example, 2 years ago, I took up surfing. I learned that for 10 days, just again, and when you take up any new skill initially, it is
Yeah.
miserable. It's
Yeah.
suffering.
Yeah. Of course.
It is, yeah. And I do it for the purpose of that, because uh, pain is the
Mm.
greatest teacher.
Mm.
Suffering allows you to process that pain in that time.
Yeah.
And because I've put myself in a very uncomfortable situation, when I come back to my taken for granted comfortable life, I am so much more appreciative of that
Yes.
things. This AC that I've put on is great. When I
Yeah.
was on trekking in Ladakh this year, which was, I've never done that since I'm a petrol head. I prefer wheels over feet.
Yeah.
I went for a proper 5, 7 day trek in Ladakh against the elements. It was terrible, suffering. Um, and I knew at that time that this is going to help me later on. And I've come back so much more grateful, grounded because of these things. So I think the process is always on. Yeah. Gautam Buddha
Yeah.
says, know thyself. That's the way to enlightenment.
And what about you had mentioned music earlier as well.
Hmm.
So where does music fit into? Is music a checking out? Like, are you doing it to like remove the world and just, or is it more
No,
about tapping into because music can
that's
be
lovely.
an
What a
enabler for
lovely,
so many.
that's a lovely question to ask. Um, So first, in terms of, as you mentioned, what is the go-to apps that you have?
Mm.
YouTube Music Library, that's the one thing I use the most. That's on my phone. And I use music not to numb out the volume of the music isn't to numb my brain out. If I'm doing that, then I know I'm trying to distract myself or escape from something.
Mm.
Um, Music I play also at a volume where it is like somebody else having a conversation. So it's not louder than my own thoughts. And if it's being played
Mm.
also amongst a group of people, it is a character within that who's also adding to the conversation and not taking over conversation. Um, you'd notice that's why I don't like to go to pubs and all. They play the music
I
so
was
loud.
just going to ask you, like, what do you think about pubs and clubs where the music is blaring?
You should reduce the music.
Yeah.
Everybody's shouting. In any case, everyone's shouting because everybody wants to be heard, right?
Yeah.
They don't allow themselves, anybody else, to finish their sentence and they just jump in. And that's
Yeah.
something that mixed with alcohol that gets even more overbearing,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And that's why I prefer house parties, for example. where the
Yeah.
music isn't dominating, where it can just intimately more get to know somebody rather than just upper say,
Yeah.
and that, and I just don't like, I'm also very, what's the word? I wouldn't say money minded, but I'm aware of my expenditures,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
An evening out to a nightclub or a drinking bar sort of a scene where I'm meeting the same friend would cost me about 5,000 rupees, whether that
Yeah.
includes a few drinks and food. That same 5 grand would put fuel in my car where I can take the same friend and go for a drive and really get to know the person in my comfort of my zone and listening to my music and have nature. So, and I used to do this early on when I didn't have enough money where everything, when
Yeah.
the menu card was read from the right to the left, and I was to
Yeah.
choose
Yeah.
based on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I've got this money. Should I socialize? Do I be a Saturday night person
Mm.
or do I be a Sunday morning person? And I
Yeah.
always selected inherently being Sunday morning, and that 3,000
Wow.
rupees would be okay. 1,500 rupees would be for the fuel. 500 rupees would be for snacks, and I come back with a
Wow.
saving of 1,000, and I feel so much better than that
Yeah.
nightclub or Saturday night
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, where does music fit in the day? Is it part of your workout routine? Is it part of your when you're reading your scripts, do you have like instrumental music playing in the background?
Mm.
Where does
Mm.
it fit into
All
your day?
throughout, all throughout, from when I
Like,
wake
walk me
up.
through it. Tell me from the
Uh,
time you wake up, what are you doing? You're turning on your music on your phone? Is that what's happening?
Alexa takes over then.
Okay.
Alexa play my favorite songs, which is usually a string of Louis Armstrong or Nora Jones, and that
Oh,
morning where
okay.
it's about the sound of the vibe, that I want to create the day with.
Yeah.
Um, so that just helps me with my coffee and just
Okay.
take that in.
So you set the
Uh,
tone of the day with your music.
yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And I've
Okay.
never been an auditory person. It's something which has changed only recently. I've always been a visual, then kinesthetic, and then auditory. But recently, with the app, with the algorithms being set. Now, here's another thing, right? The algorithms have become so good, they're selecting music better than I can make a playlist for myself. Yes.
Right.
And
Right.
that has introduced me to so much new music, which I've liked.
Mhm.
So I am all for algorithms. And that's why I've selected YouTube music. Algorithms are far better than even Spotify, for example, far more
Mm.
intuitive. Um, so I
You've
use
tried
that.
both.
I'm sorry?
You've tried both. If you're
Yes,
saying
yes.
spot. Oh,
SoundCloud, Spotify, all these things I've
okay.
heard, but YouTube Music just has the best algorithms. They're set by OpenAI. Google's taken them over, so
Mm.
they've
Yeah.
gone
Yeah.
on. They've really,
Gone crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Of course.
So DJ Algorithms is in the house. I play one song and boom, that
Yeah.
genre is set, and that allows me to
Right.
yeah, just so if I'm getting ready, if I'm having a bath or a shower and I'm going for a meeting, I'll play a
Yeah.
certain kind of music too, which is,
Yeah.
and yeah, that helps me to just set the rhythm for whatever activity I want to do. Or then
Got
gymming
it.
is obviously another kind of music.
Yeah.
Long drives would be another kind of music. So music
And
is the
in all of these, you're doing it to set the mood, like to get into a zone, whatever the zone is, whether it's an introspective zone, whether it is get the day started zone, whether it is workout zone, right? That's
yeah.
what you're.
Now, if not even get into it, then aid that zone, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
are you, where does this live? Does it live as an app? Is it YouTube, the app on your phone, or is it
yes.
your computer desktop that's up and on? I know you mentioned Alexa, that
Hmm.
also has it,
Hmm.
but how are you accessing your
On
music
my phone,
mostly?
on my phone,
Mostly.
open pop, face ID pop, center screen pop. That's my thing. So quickest way to get there.
And what kind of headphones do you use for
No,
listening to music?
I usually keep it on my speaker. I live alone,
Oh,
so I'm
yeah,
not
okay.
intruding on anybody else.
Yeah.
But if I'm out and I've got my AirPods on with the noise cancellation
Uh,
specifically,
yeah.
so I can just, it's too much noise, too much
Yeah, yeah,
noise.
yeah. Yeah. Okay,
And
so you
we
know what?
Indians are noisy people inherently. So,
Yeah, yeah. And there's traffic, there's everything. There's weather, rain, all of that stuff. So I totally get it.
mm,
Animals.
mm,
Um, let's do a share screen because I'm
mhm,
curious about
mhm.
your genres. I want to know, what does Sidhant like to listen to?
Oh, I can't. All right, I'll do that, but please, if something embarrassing
I
pops up.
won't judge. I won't judge. I won't
Okay,
judge.
cool. And this
Yeah.
is all algorithms doing that thing. It's not my
Yeah.
choices.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's not you. Yeah. There's no agency here at all. It's all the structure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's, yeah.
Blame it on the big brother.
Yeah.
Okay. Share desktop. Okay, let's go there. Um, are you seeing the screen? Is that
Yes, I am. I am.
there you go. That's what's up
Okay.
on.
So you're actually not accessing this on your desktop, right? Actually, you're doing
No.
this on your phone,
Yes, yes.
correct?
But because I think the subscription is there and it's the same account, I would imagine
Sure.
it's being picked up
It's
in.
the,
But
yeah.
let me do this. This is my desktop. Let me open my phone and see what window comes up. It's a good way to experiment then if it's on key. Oh no, completely different artists.
What?
Yeah,
Wow. I had no idea that
completely
it's
different
different,
genre.
even though it's your same account, same profile picture.
Exactly. That's crazy.
Yo, that
Hannah,
is crazy. I
you
didn't
need an
know that.
update. Yeah. So
That
it's
is
so different.
okay. So wait 1 second. Maybe we're in a different tab. Is it the home tab on your phone or as well? Because right now you're in the home tab on the left, but there's also explore and library. So I don't
Okay, yeah,
know.
this is the home tab. This is my home tab.
Wow, I didn't know it would be different.
And this is of the music I play when I'm so mellow indie. All this is like working
Yeah.
music, lo-fi, loft, uh, cloudy day R&B. There's nothing. Yeah, this is all my when I'm expecting calls on my phone and I
Huh.
want to take that, so I don't play it off my phone. I'm playing it off the desktop.
Huh.
These are the
Okay.
songs I usually play, so that it's not intrusive in.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dude, your vibe in music is just like my vibe in music.
oh
Like, that's
yeah.
insane. That's so funny. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so this is your desktop, and what's on your
Oh
phone?
wait,
Like,
this
what's
okay. So this would be listen again. Would probably be yeah,
so this is repeat of what you've just listened to, and then
yeah.
it's making recommendations as well, right?
There
So,
should be. Uh,
and how do you actually tell me how you actually navigate YouTube? Do you just play one song and then it just runs with whatever happens next and you just leave it? It's not like you're searching for artists or albums or songs in particular.
yes. Now I've got too many screens on me, and with your voice, I'm
Leave
lost.
your leave your phone.
Phones
Yeah, just
aside,
talk.
can I stop
Leave your phone.
screen sharing? Or
You can no. I want to wait here for a second. What I want to
okay.
know is when you're playing music and you
Yes.
come on to YouTube,
Yes.
are you searching for anything in particular or are you searching for a mood? Let's start there.
I search for a song which is very familiar to me, and I know, okay, this is the
Ah,
mood of that song, and then that one click, then algorithm takes over, and it plays me similar genres. Um, and like I said,
interesting.
I'd like to be an efficient person, so I don't
Yeah,
want to spend too much time figuring, okay, what mood am I in? Kind of
got
song.
it.
Just
Got it.
pick
Got
one
it.
and boom, just go
Do
there.
you use other things that YouTube has to offer? For example, liking a channel, creating a playlist, following an artist. Do you
Um,
active engage with the platform?
so YouTube or YouTube Music? Which one?
YouTube
Which
Music. YouTube
YouTube
Music. Only
Music?
music. Yeah.
Uh, no, I just put liked music, songs I like, and downloaded songs because I'm often traveling in no network zones, so at least I have access to
Mm,
music then. Those are the two features I don't follow artists now that you mention
got it.
it. I don't create playlists either because whoa, I was never. I remember when the days of mixtapes and
Yes,
recording CD,
exactly.
burning CDs. Yeah, I couldn't. I couldn't like sit
You know,
myself down and song.
you
I
did
just
say that music is a new thing in your life, right? Like it's
uh,
a being an audiophile is it's a
yeah, because
fairly
at
new
that
thing.
time it was all mixed from my brother, borrowed from my brother.
Yeah,
Whatever music he would listen to, okay, I'll listen to this. My parents, what
right.
parents would listen, I would listen to this. Only recently I've now started discovering what is my own tastes of
Mm,
music. For example, EDM is something I never vibe with. I was
mm,
always old school instrumental music or dance music because I used to be a
yeah,
dancer.
yeah.
But EDM recently is great because I mean there is no better music that allows me to zone in as much as EDM, because you set the BPMs and then you figure out the genre and then I'm there. Then, like, I find lyrical music annoying now, especially when I'm trying to work because they're
Of
shouting
course.
and
And also,
then
there are other words in your mind. You already have your
yes,
own words in your mind.
yes,
Yeah. I
exactly.
get it.
It
Especially
was
if they're
great.
familiar, you know.
I'm sorry.
I said, especially when they're familiar, because then you want to sing along too. Like you're like, oh, I know the words.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Um,
so what are your go-to you go back to your favorites for a second, the whatever,
mm,
listen again. Are
mm.
these, like you said, they're artists and vibes or rather songs that you want to listen to and then you let the algo do its magic? What is
Yes.
your go-to, what's your go-to morning music? Like, is there some default? You mentioned what do you say?
Oh,
Nora?
sorry. Pause. Sorry. I'm just trying to. Hang drum music, the instrument hang drum
Hang
and tabla.
drum. Oh,
Yeah,
hang
that's a
drum. Oh, I didn't know that's what it's
yeah,
called. I've seen it before. Yes.
yeah. It's
It's like a steel
beautiful.
pan.
Yes, and it creates beautiful music, just like that.
Okay.
Just the right. I don't want too much of.
Yeah.
It's just right. I don't know. For me, it's right.
Perfect. So that's where how you start your morning.
Yes, and then Para for Kuva. This is a song I go to very often in the last 6 months.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't know who these guys are. These are all algorithms who have
That's okay.
selected.
And but like you said, it's good because you're getting exposed to a whole bunch of stuff, new
Yeah,
artists in the same genre.
yeah. And this is my own song. I'm very proud to be uh, a musician without being able to play a
What?
musical instrument. Yeah, this
What?
is
How?
my
What?
song.
What does that even mean? Like, how is this your song? You wrote it?
Yes, I wrote it. I've performed it.
You
Um,
performed it? I didn't know you
yes.
sing.
I don't sing. This is more in the zone of slam poetry.
Oh, okay.
Um,
All right.
and
I
then
know what I'm
my
going to listen to
oh
after the
yes,
show.
yes.
Great. Best
Um,
before.
yeah, that's
Okay.
one of I've made three original soundtracks so far,
And they're
and
all on YouTube Music?
they're all on YouTube.
Okay, so we
YouTube,
know.
YouTube Music. I think they're different. Some of them are not on YouTube Music. They're on YouTube.
Okay, on YouTube. All right. Okay, we're good. You can stop your share screen right now. I
Yeah.
think the whole this
Also
whole
showing me low
session.
battery. Areba. Uh-oh.
That's okay. It's perfect timing. I wanted to just wrap up
Mm-hmm.
by asking you first before I get into rapid fire round fun
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Is there anything else that, since we've been talking so much about all the different touch points in your life that have uh, that reflect your character and who you are, right? And what you're seeking out of life, what is meaningful in life. Is there anything else that you want to add that we haven't talked about?
I think it's this. Thankfully, gratefully, this interview conversation has been about me, right? And I don't want to. There's enough of me out there already. Um, I'd like to think about something which will be very usable for everybody. Breathe. Just breathe. Um, I can't begin to tell you how many secrets of life are there in breath. Um,
Mm.
and it's because there's so much. It's also very individual to discover what is there for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that is something which be conscious about breath and breathing and relaxation, relaxing, and not necessarily not needing to be number one, not needing to be fast and ambitious so much that no, that's not the purpose of life. Um, Purpose of life is to have interesting conversations with interesting people and coming back with something good, evolving, with
Yeah.
not being number one. It's overrated.
Okay. Um, Only thing left is a rapid fire round. Okay. All right. Rapid fire. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All
Wait,
right. First,
let me relax. That's good.
all right. Name one thing on your bucket list.
Africa, riding on my motorcycle through Africa.
Riding on your motorcycle through Africa. Wow. Okay. Which already know the answer to this one. Which social media platform are you most active on?
Instagram.
Exactly. Do you post on Instagram, by the way, or are you just consuming content?
I do post. In
You do
fact,
post on
I
Instagram.
post more than I check out others. It's like
Very
posting.
good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
very good. You're an actor. This is your
Yeah.
platform.
This
Yeah.
is my, I have to be here. That's why I'm here. If I could not, I would not. But I'm also a
Yeah.
visual person to enjoy visuals. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. What comes to mind when I say happiness?
Overrated, over abused.
Okay. All right. Do you own a vehicle? I know you do. You just mentioned it. What do you own?
My motorcycle, I have a Africa Twin, CRF 1000. So you can travel through continents on that motorcycle. I have a 1982 Mercedes W123. Uh, I have my first car is still with me. That's a Volkswagen GT. That's my sleeper car. So when I just need to go park in Bandra, that's the one, and it's Chotu and still works. Uh, I have a Mercedes E250, and now recently my mom got a Mercedes GLE 450 petrol. She's a petrol head too, so we're a family of petrol heads. Uh,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. And now family of Mercedes, it seems like. You're
and
doing
yeah,
that collection.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That was it, Sidhant. Very, very painless rapid fire. Thanks so much for your time. This was, I feel like after this call, I'm calm. I'm myself. It's like your energy is rubbed off on me, as a result of having this conversation. And I'm very, very grateful that you could take time out because I know you have a busy schedule. So
Taapsi, thank you. Wow, what a lovely conversation this was. So organic, so intellectually and spiritually and holistically stimulating. You made me ask myself questions which I had not thought about. And it was so good and organic. You're so good at this. Please like,
thank you.
subscribe, and share, everybody, because this is awesome coming up. I know I'm going to be a fan of Taapsi and listen to your podcasts because it's really good. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.